Hey everyone, if you're looking for a simple but really powerful way to finally get a handle on your money, you're in the right place. We're about to break down one of the most popular budgeting methods out there, so let's dive right in. Does this sound familiar? That feeling of just waiting for the next payday, hoping nothing goes wrong in between? Yeah, that stress can be absolutely exhausting. But what if there was a really straightforward framework to change all that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Meet the 50-30-20 rule. And the real beauty of this method is just how simple it is. This isn't about getting bogged down in complicated spreadsheets or tracking every single penny you spend. It's about looking at your money in three clear, simple buckets. So the starting point for this whole thing is your after-tax income. The actual amount of money that hits your bank account each month. The rule suggests splitting it just like this: half for your needs, a good chunk for your wants, and a really crucial slice for your future. Yep, it really all comes down to these three numbers: 50, 30, and 20. That's 50% for the things you absolutely must have, 30% for the stuff you'd like to have, and 20% for savings and paying down debt. So let's break down what actually falls into each of these categories. First up, we've got the biggest slice of the pie: your needs. This category covers your absolute essential expenses. We're talking about the things you simply have to pay just to live and work. These are the non-negotiables. So, what exactly is a need? Well, think about things like your rent or your mortgage payment, your groceries, your utility bills, and transportation to get to your job. This also includes important stuff like insurance and the minimum payments you have to make on any existing debts. Okay, let's make this real. Let's say your take-home pay is $4,000 a month. According to this rule, all of those essential needs should fit within $2,000. It gives you a really clear target to aim for. All right, next up is the 30% slice for your wants. Now, this is what a lot of people call the lifestyle, or, the fun part of your budget. It's the money you spend on things that make life way more enjoyable, but aren't strictly necessary for survival. So what counts as a want? Well, pretty much everything that isn't an absolute necessity. This is your dining out budget, your Netflix subscription, going to concerts, shopping for new clothes, and money for your hobbies or for going out with friends. Sticking with our $4,000 a month example, this gives you $1,200 to spend on your lifestyle. The rule makes sure you're not just surviving, but you're actually able to enjoy the money you're working so hard to earn. And that brings us to the third, and you could argue the most important category, that 20% that's dedicated to your financial future. This is the money that's going to work for you, building your security and wealth over the long haul. This 20% is doing a few really critical jobs. It's for building up an emergency fund, it's for your retirement savings, in accounts like a 401k or an IRA, and it's for making extra payments to get out of debt faster. Plus, this is where investing and saving for big goals, like a down payment on a house, comes in. For that $4,000 monthly income, this comes out to $800 a month. Just think about that. That's $800 every single month going directly toward building a stronger, more secure financial future for yourself. That's pretty powerful stuff. So we've broken down the rule, but here's the big question. Does it actually work in the real world? And maybe more importantly, is it going to work for you? Let's do a little reality check. Let's look at a different income level. Say you bring home $3,500 a month. The rule says your needs target should be around $1,750. But what if you're actually spending $2,200 on rent and other essentials? Well, this framework immediately shows you where the problem is. It's a clear signal that something needs to be adjusted. Now look, no budget is perfect for everyone. The huge pro for the 50-30-20 rule is that it's just so simple to follow, and it really helps you balance living your life now with saving for tomorrow. On the flip side, the cons, well, if you live in a really high cost of living area, that 50% for needs can feel incredibly tight. Or if you have a ton of high interest debt, you might need to make that 20% savings category even bigger for a while. And this is maybe the most important thing to remember. This is a guideline, not a strict law. If the 50-30-20 split just doesn't quite fit your life right now, you can absolutely adjust it. Some people find a 60-20-20 split works better, or even a 70-20-10 if they're really focused on aggressive debt repayment or live in a super expensive city. So that brings us to your challenge. I want you to go grab your bank statement from last month, figure out your total take-home pay, and just see how your spending actually lines up with these three categories. Where are you overspending? Where are you doing well? I promise the results might really surprise you. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. When you really look at your own finances, which one of these categories feels like the biggest hurdle to get under control? Is it keeping your needs under that 50% mark? Is it taming your wants? Or is it consistently hitting that 20% savings goal? Because understanding your personal challenge, that's always the first step to mastering your money.